photo before I readjust it. Okay. No, I just wanted to take a photo first before I readjust it. That's perfect. Okay. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm certain that I've greeted. Can we try again? Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Much better, much better. When I entered the hall this morning and I saw how fabulous and professional and prim and proper our learners looked, I just had a private moment with myself, because remember, unlike our distinguished guests here this morning, we know what you look like when you look this well. We also know what you look like when the stipend is 3 days late. And so you are not fooling me. You may be fooling our invited guests, members of council, funder representative, but we have seen each other on the streets. And now this morning, on this glorious Thursday in Bredasdorp, we also see each other under these beautiful circumstances. My name is Atifanel, and I have the privilege to be the program director at this auspicious occasion this morning in this beautiful town on this beautiful day. Chairperson of the Council of the Western Cape CET College, Mr. Jeremiah Tainsma, Ms. Fuchani, Deputy Director General for the CET branch at the Department of Higher Education and Training, Mr. Ntano, Chief Director for the Provincial Department of Employment and Labor, Mr. Kasi Krier, the Regional Manager for the Western and Northern Cape for the Department of Higher Education, service providers, and members of the PMU of House of Bonneware, I greet you this morning. Our most important guests for the morning, our learners, halala Bredasdorp, halala. Halala Bredasdorp, halala. Don't let the cloak constrain you from enjoying yourself this morning. I must just say, without laboring the point, what a beautiful sight to behold from the top here, if you think about everything that it is that we will discuss here this morning. So, may we all rise, and then for the singing of the national anthem. Afrika malupa kami supondo wayo, izwani mitandazo yetu, Kosi sigelela tina lusapo wayo, murena buluka sichaba sa Yesu, ofedise dintwale mashwe yeho osibuluke, osibuluke sichabasa Yesu sichabasa South Africa. South Africa. Ay, die blauw van onze hemel, ay, die diepte van ons Heer. Oor ons ewige gebergtes, waar die kranse antwoord gee. Sounds a call to come together, and united we shall stand. Let us live and strive for freedom in South Africa, our land. Beautiful, you may be seated, kind of you. It is my honor to call the signatory of our checks and the approver of our stipends, the acting principal, Mr. Zita, to come and do the opening and welcome. Let us welcome him.
Mr. Van Nel. Good morning. Are you fine? Good morning. I should hear that voice, man. That's what I wanted to hear. Program Director, the chairperson of the College Council, and the members of the council that are here, the executive mayor of Cape Agalas and the deputy mayor, and the colleagues of Cape Agalas, the DDG of our branch, CET branch in head office, with the director for governance and management, Ms. Korisan, the regional manager of the Western Cape and Northern Cape and the regional officials, the chief director for the Western Cape Provincial Department for Employment and Labor. Those are the funders, the UIF funders and the colleagues that are there. The director of the Western Cape CET, the Old Mutual National Marketing Manager and the colleagues that are here, Dr. Lu and the colleagues from the Chinese Exchange Institute, the college senior management, the center managers that are here, the staff members, House of Boniwe, and the training providers. Mr. Beach and the colleague at my back here, we acknowledge you also. Today, let me acknowledge all It is a pleasure in welcoming you in this very important occasion of the college. Out of the two ceremonies, I believe that this one accepts recognition to whom recognition is due. In this context, it is particularly gratifying for me to be able to welcome those success we are celebrating today. The Skills Program Phase 2 class of 2001, who are the cohort of the students to complete this unique, innovative, and worthwhile program of service to our communities. I would like to appreciate the distinguished efforts done by the Department of Employment and Labor, the UIF, for funding our skills program. We appreciated the dedication of the facilitators and service providers to different programs and what they have done to their utmost best to ensure the success of the students, and we are excited to share these celebrations with you. Let me also appreciate the support done by the College Council for the development and initiatives that he has taken to make it a point that our skills program are offered in our college. We salute you, council members. Administrative task, that is work done by UIF, House of Boniwe, the college management, so that this skills program can be a success, and we salute you. Graduation ceremonies are a time both for celebrations and thanksgiving. I'm very much hope that today's graduating class will consider this success as the first step in achieving greater success in the future. I hope also that you will recognize that this is also a time for thanking those who have helped you to reach this milestone today in your academic career. And on your behalf, I'm pleased to be able to thank publicly your families, your friends, your facilitators, and all those who contributed to make it a point that this skills program class is a success today. In a very real sense, your success is also their success. A philosopher, Arnon Wilton, says, only the people who take learning, growth, and skills development into their own hands will be tomorrow's leaders. We look upon you, out of the skill that you have acquired, that you have achieved, you will utilize it fruitfully so that you can join the economy of this country. We salute you, we are proud of you, the students, the graduates, who are the main participants of these celebrations today. We salute you for the achievement that you have done, and we are proud of you as the college. We are all welcome in this juvenile occasion, and let all of us adhere to COVID regulations and enjoy the celebrations. I thank you.
I thank you, Mr. Zita, for that heartwarming welcoming and opening. I trust that everyone is comfortable and we feel welcome. Just in terms of some few logistic arrangements or announcements, the ablution facilities are to your right, so you can just, should there be any need, quietly sneak there. I would also just like you to take 3 seconds now and make dead sure that your phone is either off or on silent so that it doesn't interfere with the quality of our audio-visual recordings. And then I'd like you to just clap as loud and hard as possible and make some noise as we welcome the remaining learners across the breadth of this province who are tuning in via YouTube and Facebook as they follow the proceedings this morning. So each of them received data from the college this morning so that they were duly empowered to follow the proceedings. It is my pleasure to give you the overview of the program, but before we do, may I ask all of us just to stand as we remember the fallen this morning. The program have lost 4 people that we just want to give a brief moment of silence in their memory to. One of our service providers, the College for Sustainable Agriculture, lost one of their coordinators, and then Machabelele Associates lost one of their facilitators, and then we lost 2 learners, one to COVID in the plant production program, and 1 learner yesterday in the assistant housekeeping program in Naisna, Ms. Butin Josella, who was murdered and a body dumped into a lake. May we just stand and we just remember the fallen, and then in your own way, in your own manner, just take a few seconds and just pray for their families as we remember them. I thank you. It is important that when one arrives at a conclusion of a program, that we remember where it all started. And where we are today on the 30th of September 2021, all started in February 2018 on a Monday evening in a council meeting. The previous council of the Western Cape CET College, coincidentally also led by Mr. Jeremiah Tainsma, it would seem that he went and came back to come and finish what he had started. That college council took a very bold and courageous decision that it would like to expand its service offering to include occupational skills. And in the process, that was not the primary goal, it's a supplementary goal, also create or diversify its income streams so that it is not just only at the behest of the grants that it receives. They then invited some project management companies, of which ours, House of Boniwe, was one, to come and address council and share some ideas on how it could venture into this new terrain that council has set for itself as a strategic priority. So on that Monday evening, myself and Ms. Job went there and we had some deliberations with the council, and I think we pointed out 2 things to them. The first was that the college has got no competitor when it comes to having a footprint across the province. All other TVET colleges and universities serve a particular district or town or the metro in the case of most of the universities. But the college has a presence in every single town, in every single district in the province. That is a major competitive advantage for a college who decides they're going to enter the skills terrain. The second thing I think we discussed was the importance that over the next 20 to 30 years, the bulk of governmental development, including training, must go to rural localities. It must go to where rural people are. And again, the college has got a very strong rural presence. And so that evening then, a partnership was born, and the first opportunity that presented itself, there was a range of others, but we are here to discuss the UIF today. In August of 2018 then, the UIF put out advertisements for the inviting public sector institutions to submit funding proposals. Now, we had another meeting with the college council and the then management team, and we challenged them to do something bold. Like my daughter would always say, Daddy, go broke, go home. What? Go big or go home? Yeah, go big or go home. And so we wrote jointly a proposal that asked for 4,500 skills programs at 94.2 million rand, and that asked for 1,600 learnerships at 76.4 million rand. Now, that is ambitious. Say ambitious. Say ambitious. That's very ambitious. And we said to them, let us submit a proposal to the UIF that when they open the documents, they must first put it aside and say, we'll come to these ones later who think so big, and then let them deal with all the other ones who are not that ambitious. And obviously, our job was to assist the institution, who did not necessarily have a track record for occupational skills at that point, to bring on board our private sector partners who would host all of these learners. And so we wrote a proposal for the hospitality industry. Remember, this is all long before COVID. This is 2018. For the hospitality industry, the tourism industry, agriculture, and the environment, which are four very critical industries anywhere in the Western Cape. And in November that year, we received 2 award letters. We were approved, the college was approved for both programs. This program was for 4,500 learners, and then the learnership for 1,600 learners, without a single cent or a single learner number having been reduced. They gave just as the college asked. And I think it's opportune this morning, there's a vote of thanks later, just to acknowledge here Mr. Ntano, representing the DEL, that they really backed up the college. It was the only CET of the 9 CETs that has received money, and amongst the college sector, we can put our hands together for that. So council's vision was then firmly on track. We had to split the 4,500 learners and stagger it over 2 phases. The first phase was only 1,000 learners in 3 programs, being environmental practice, assistant chef, and hospitality research. And then that 1,000 learners we only did in the Cape Metro and in Malmesbury. Started on the 8th of May in 2019, just the day after the elections. It would seem that this college likes to either start its programs or end them very close to elections. There's something between this college and elections, so we will still find out what it is. And did we have some fun on this program? The second phase only started in August last year. We had to wait for COVID. It was due to start in March, but we had to wait for about 5 months. We could only start at the end of August. Now let me tell you some of the drama that this program came with, distinguished guests. In one particular town, our team went out to do the recruitment of 30 learners for plant production in that particular town. The presentations were made, the learners were recruited, all of the supporting documents were handed in. Obviously, the recruitment was done with the Department of Labor as per the funding agreement. And then 2 weeks later, the training started. And then that Monday morning, the facilitator called and said not a single learner pitched up. And we said, are you sure not a single learner? He says, not a single learner. He said, not even one. He said, not even one. We then started calling around to find out what happened. Whereas the facilitator is waiting at 8:10 for the learners, a certain farmer rocked into the township that morning, harvesters. And our entire class got onto a truck. They were assembled outside from about 7:30. And so the truck driver couldn't believe his eyes when he saw 30 people, looking for 30 people, waiting in one accord. And they considered what we're paying as a stipend, and they considered what they can earn, and off went our class. And so we had to send another team in to go and re-recruit and keep that class under wraps and say, please, if you see any truck, run towards the classroom. The program consisted of two started, Mr. Teinsma and Mr. Zita. Both had entirely black hair. And then COVID came, and under COVID, we had to find 3,500 work placement opportunities. And as a result of that challenge, Mr. Teinsma is now gray, and Mr. Zita has completely gone bald. That the college is rightfully receiving for having done this project so professionally and efficiently. The highest accolade must probably go to the fact that no one gave us a fair chance in a COVID environment to place 3,500 learners for 4 months for experiential learning. But it happened. And that's why you're here this morning, because of the 3,500 learners who started, we finished with 3,025 learners across the 8 programs, across the province, which is 86%. I'm mentioning all those things for the purpose of Mr. Ntano, the man who will be later on the program, who carries the checkbook. We will find out later if he brought it with, and we will not take any explanations that we no longer write checks, we do EFTs these days. And so, without the college couldn't in Abbotsdale, who have not only employed all the learners, but every Wednesday they have cooked a meal for all the learners. It was mixed farming learners, just to build cohesion amongst the learners. For the 4 months that the learners were there, each of them had a 2 weeks opportunity to act as a supervisor, just to enhance the workplace experience. And then also we had Le Food Wines, who hosted our plant production learners in the PAL, also went beyond the call of duty. They also absorbed all the learners afterwards.
Certain at the time, like how my life would be and like, what my niche in life would be. So I thought maybe, try working with people, which is not an easy thing to do, but I've been told that, I'm good with people and I'm good with communicating and things of the sort. Like we received training in multiple aspects, the answering of phones, how to deal with certain situations. We received first aid training, basic first aid training. We received fire drills and things like that in our little classroom that was hired, which was literally like our home, but we made the best of the situation that we were given. I worked as a waiter for about 3 months with the program, and then eventually I received a contract with the Cape Town Hotel after the program has ended, and I'm still currently working with him. And I've enjoyed every step of the way there at Cape Town. I've learned a lot from them. They are the first hotel I've ever worked at, so all my experience is only from them, which I'm very happy about. My manager's been training me well. I've been trained to work on the system now, and my ambition is to not work as a waiter for the rest of my life. I would like to move up in the ranks, and then because I don't want to stagnate within the same position for a long period of time. So if I can move up and it's possible for me, I'll work and do my hardest to get to said position that I want to achieve. So yeah, I would just like to say as well, thank you to the Western Cape Community College of Training for this opportunity that they've given me, and to the UIF, a very big thank you to the UIF for funding this program, because it's really changed my life.
Hi, I'm Shamla Banglo, and I did an assistant chef course where I'm currently working at Lentegria Psychiatric Hospital. Before I did this course, I did a bit of everything that you can think of. This program changed me in a sense of I'm actually doing now what I've always wanted to do, which is in the cooking industry. Thank you to the Western Cape Community College and UIF for the opportunity that they gave me.
Hallo almal, ek is Nezerin Titus, ek is van die Parel. My ouderdom is 30 jaar oud en ek het die geleentheid gekry om 'n kursus te doen as 'n assistent chef. Ons kursus was aangebied in Mbekweni, Parel. Ons was baie studente, maar baie min in die kleerling, of as ek maar so sê, breinmense, was ons maar net 7 of 8 gewees. Ek het hierdie kursus gedoen omdat ek het voorheen 'n kursus by Waarmakersvallei Sentrum gedoen in die Wellington. En dit was net 'n kookkursus, maar ek wil nie net daar gebly het nie. Dis waar ek die opportunity gekry het om assistent chef kursus te doen. En dit het vir my baie gehelp. In die eerste het ons Oktober 2020 het ons teorie gedoen. En daarvan het ons geleer hoe om skoon te maak, hoe met verhoudings met jou collega's op te bou. En na daai het ons gaan leer om prakties te doen. November 2020 het ek my prakties gedoen by Asante Plaas. Ons doen funksies van troues, konferensies, enige funksies wat kan plaasvind, daar doen ons. My ondervinding het ek baie opgedoen in die kombuisen. Die beste afdeling van my was in die kombuis gewees, die nageregte. En daai is waar my sterkpunte lê. En vandag kan ek net vir julle of almal wat dit kyk net aanmoedig om ook dit te doen. Want indien jy belangstel in hierdie loopbaan en ek geniet baie my werk en ek kan vir julle waarborg indien daar weer so 'n kursus opkom, moet julle belangstel aan, want dit is 'n waarborging. En vandag werk ek by Asante Plaas ook as 'n assistente chef en in die nagereg afdeling, maar ek help ook my kollegas met respek en ons werk saam as 'n span in enige iets wat hulle van my vra, help ek. Ek wil net dankie sê vir die UIF, die IGP en die WCCET, WC, vir die geleentheid wat hulle vir ons gegee het, sodat ons daar buite iets kan bereik in die wêreld. Dankie.
Naziva Powers, I'm 19 years old. I've always been from Cape Town. I've done the assistant chef course. I've never worked before this program, but while I was where I was placed, I'm still working there as a casual. The program really changed. It was life-changing because I got exposure to a working environment, and now I'm still currently at the place, I become more independent. Like I can help my mommy contribute to our expenditures, and it also made me more confident because I have friends that never worked before, and since I know working experience, I know how the working environment is, so now I can tell them more about it. And I'm happy about this program, because if this program wasn't there, I don't think I would have gotten this opportunity, and I'm extremely grateful for the college and for the UIF.
My name is Rashia Mpandle. I'm born and bred in Cape Town, but I moved to Worcester, where I was attending the environmental practice course during the highly bad times in our lives when COVID was actually treating us so bad when I was unemployed. And actually get to be helped a lot by the program, because it showed me that waste can be changed into something very much productive that can also be used, as I've also gained an interest in doing some composting in the waste management, and also getting to convert some of the waste into some other useful things. And as I was in the class of the waste management and also having my own company, I got also to help to host the other students to be placed in the the municipal departments, and also advising them to do their own entrepreneurial programs by doing recycling. And it helped me a lot also in my current project management and construction company, that if there is waste on site, I get to convert it into something else. If there are some concrete blocks that are being left there that are broken, we change it to making it a concrete slab. And currently, I thank a lot the Western Cape Community Education and Training for giving me the opportunity to participate, as well as the UIF Learnership Assistance Program.
As the funder representative in our midst here this morning will come and address us and give a vote of support to the project. He's the Chief Director for the Department of Employment and Labour in the Western Cape. Mr. Ntana.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. You know, when you're from the Department of Employment and Labor, sometimes when you're invited in sessions like this and you are told that you're carrying the check, you don't know whether you must really exit the back door or you must have to, because you did not really bring the check. Program Director, the Chairperson of the Council, Mr. Tisma, members of the entire Council, what a visionary council you have, Chairperson. The DDG for the city branch in the Department of Higher Education and Training, Ms. Fuchane. The DDG from the National Skills Fund, I'm not sure whether it's here, Mr. Mvalo. The regional manager for the Western Cape and the Northern Cape, Mr. Kasi Kruger. The principal or the acting principal of the college, Mr. Zita, and the entire management of the college and officials. The Old Mutual presence, I think I also acknowledge here, under the representation of Mr. Esther Renza. The graduating learners. One thing I've noted from the program director, he said, don't let your clock constrain you. And it's an exciting day today. Program director, my ambitions is one day to be a preacher, and I will use that as a sermon one day. Don't let your clock constrain you. Thank you very much. Greetings to all the graduating learners. I must say that the acting commissioner of the Unemployment Insurance Fund would have liked to be part of this session. He asked me to convey his apology. You might know that the Unemployment Insurance Fund is under tremendous pressure around this time. You know very well that we have disbursed over 60 billion in benefits, particularly on TES, as well as your normal UIF. What also puts more pressure on us recently are the unrests. The KwaZulu-Natal and the Gauteng unrest has also put more pressure on us. We've just recently developed a benefit solely to accommodate or cater for the workers who have been affected by the very unrest. If there's one thing I must appreciate, especially from the young people, is that they truly did not want to participate, and I'm grateful that the college wanted to absorb and keep our young people really engage, and I think it's something very, very, very commendable on the part of the college. Ladies and gentlemen, the Unemployment Insurance Fund is an entity of the Department of Employment and Labor. One thing I cannot talk about today is the work that the Unemployment Insurance Fund has done. Pre-COVID, we had a fund that was so liquid to the point that it had an excess of more than 160 billion. And I'm not ashamed to say that over the past 15 months during the COVID, we've injected 60 billion in the economy. It's something that proved that this fund was well managed. With everything that's happened, and I think we're still basking on the glory that we're running a very successful fund. And I think the partnerships we have with other departments, particularly our sister department, Department of Higher Education and Training, I know our ministers, they talk from time to time on many projects and things. Even now, I know there's an ongoing engagement between the two ministers. Within the ranks of the Unemployment Insurance Fund, we've got a division called the Labor Activation Program, which has a budget which was allocated to it out of the reserves of the Unemployment Insurance Fund. And the project, which was run to date, born out of those reserves. And the intention of this program, I must also highlight here of the program, the LAP program, is that it is responsible for skills training interventions and workplace readiness programs, focus on the unemployed, particularly those who have contributed to the Unemployment Insurance Fund. We know for a fact that some young people are already working and they've been laid off, and we want to integrate them back to employment. And I think that's the intention of this very program. Yes, Program Director, in 2018, we entered into a funding agreement with the college, and we intended to train at the time 4,500 learners on different skills program, and we truly committed an amount of 94 million to this project. It is so true what the program director says, it is the very biggest amount that we've ever given to a college, and demonstrate that we are very committed to the part of this region. And I'm so encouraged when the program director said the footprint of the college is wide in the province. Just to share a quick experience in the department, we also in recruiting quite a number of professionals in different roles. We wanted an inspector in Beaufort West. Just an inspector to inspect. We have these positions, it's about 5 of them. These positions are vacant for a period of 2 years, and we're struggling to get young people to really be employed, because within that region, we are struggling to secure and get. You'll find that people are coming from other areas, but we would like to prefer people coming from the region because there's so much migration that is happening around, and it's something that's really greatly affecting us. And I think the college needs to really adjust itself and really focus on some of the key skills that are critical within the province, because it is very, very important. Program Director, the graduates we're celebrating today truly are beneficiaries of that agreement. You might also know that during the 6th administration, the Department of Employment and Labor was reconfigured. Hence, we now talk of employment as also a mandate within the department. We know historically, the department is known with inspection, with UIF, benefits, and payout. But I think the new administration changed the mandate for the department to play a very active role in employment creation. And what has been acknowledged was that we truly cannot really employ as a department. We must play a facilitating role. In other words, we should partner with key institutions. It is business that employs people. It is not the Department of Employment and Labor. So the whole issue of partnership is very critical, and I think that's what really we are about. Historically, we have injected money on training initiatives just only to get our people to receive certificates. And I think what we are intentional about this time around is that let's train learners and they must be employed. And that's what this is about. And I think our adjustments, our revision of these programs is purely to say, let the colleges in particular within their institutional arrangements also drive the issue of establishing these linkages, because businesses must form part of these initiatives so that learners, when they are trained, automatically get placed in some form of employment opportunity. And I think that's what the message is about. And I must say, answer the question that has been asked, whether are we still open for business? Yes, we are still open for business, but let's ensure that the opportunities or the training interventions are directly linked with employment opportunities, because we don't want to train people and linger on the street. It will be meaningless for us just to put money for people to be trained and then they are not absorbed by the economy. And that's the reality we're confronting, and I think we must partner in this regard, because it is truly very, very, very important. Yes, we're paying a stipend, which it was alluded to, and it really came very meaningful, because it also kept the dropout rate, some of the. It may not really be the amount that's really, really competitive, but I think the Unemployment Insurance Fund has noted that aspect. Within the department, we've got a division called Public Employment Services, which is seated in the province. And I think the college has been very instrumental in partnering with us to register the very learners with the ESSA database. We are running a database in the Department of Employment and Labor, which is called ESSA. It has an estimated of more than 5 million work seekers countrywide. And these are people who are looking for employment, and I think we assisting as a department, as I've indicated, that it is our role now to ensure that we facilitate or play an active role in employment creation. Provincially, I know with the college, we are very active in this space. And the college has truly worked with us. And I think the learners that we're celebrating today were registered through that program. And I think it has been really very beneficial. I must also say that, Mr. Mayor, is that the Department of Employment and Labor has professional counselors. We register work seekers within the database. We link them to employment opportunities. In other words, all businesses here, they register their opportunities with us. We've got such a success rate when it comes to businesses registered employment opportunities, even here in Bredasdorp, yes, in Hermanus, across the province. And what we're battling with is really placement of that. I think our percentage is very low at this stage. But I think we want to work with we work with everyone in this regard. It is a service that we provide free of charge, where we are competing, and we know that we are competing with private employment agencies in this regard. But I think we are urging employers really to partner with us in this regard, particularly municipalities, because that's the area where we are truly battling to penetrate. But I think we think that the college today also will steer these relationships on our behalf and partner with us so that we are able to secure productive relationships in this space. Key decision that has been taken by us is to devolve the labor activation program. I must just say this to the council as well, that one of the important decisions taken by the department is to devolve this function. Currently, the council or the college is working with the national colleagues. I mean, I've had quite a lot of time, you're talking about Ms. Duma, Ms. whoever, all those colleagues are stationed centrally in the national office. A decision has been taken that this function must come down to the provinces. We and the colleges understand the economic specifics. We know what the performing sectors, the agri-sector is driving the economy here. The manufacturing sector is one of the sectors that have seemed to be sustained. So we need to be responsive in this regard. That's why we thought, as a department, let's have this thing run provincially. What we want to do is even the decision-making of these funding agreements should be done at a local level. Because as we understand the dynamics here in the province, we are currently recruiting, I think the lady that you know, may know, I think Poppy is a lady who's currently, she's the only one who's doing monitoring of these projects. We are appointing an additional team just to have a full labor activation team in the province. It will be opportune for us to sit and discuss and try and come up with workable, customized, responsive projects that are going to benefit our people. And I think we must take advantage By the end of November, we will have this team ready, which means we should then, with the college, sit and discuss what is the first project that we can undertake that we will use as a flagship for us in the province. And I'm appreciating that the college's footprint is across the board, because we really want to reach out the length and breadth of this province, because there is so much opportunity. In the West Coast, there's so much that's happening. In the Overberg region, there's so much vegetation here. But I must also point out one fact which I think it's important, particularly the municipality. We are seeing quite a lot of areas where we go to a company and we see that this company has employed foreign nationals in an excess of the number that is really required. And this is something, this is a sensitive subject, I must be honest with you about it. It's a subject not everybody wants to talk about. But I think we're gradually becoming bold as a department to say, maybe let's confront this issue, because it's creating turmoil on the ground. You and me will understand what I'm really saying. But I think if we can drive this area and ensure that employers are also acting responsibly in this regard. And I think the role of the college is very critical here, because upskilling our people and their place in those opportunities will be something that I really try and calm what is happening in communities. And I think this is the area we all need to confront. Yes, I must say again, it's an area sensitive as it is, but I think we must really confront it head on as communities as well as institutions of government, so that we can be able to play an active role here and support the people that we share. We truly appreciate the visionary leadership of the college. We have heard that 151 learners have found permanent employment. Coming to this hall today, something said to me, what a time to be alive to witness this prestigious event where learners are graduating, they will participate fully into the labor market. It is something really we commend. We truly salute what the college has done. We are looking forward to work with the college. We want to meet with the college, craft responsive regional programs, which we will also table on behalf of the college to the Department of Employment and Labor. There's so much money that's been spent around this. I think the UIF has spent more than 20 billion on the labor activation program. Yes, we can be talking about 94 million. This is nothing compared with what has been spent. It's nothing compared with what still needs to be spent in this area. Chairperson, there are many lessons learned in this regard, and we acknowledge it. I have been called to go to Parliament and answer why there are delays in the transfer of money between the UIF and the college. We want to streamline and ensure that we've got an efficient process there. What we're committing from our side is that we will improve in those areas so that we don't affect negatively the learners in this regard. And I think we know those issues and we really want to deal with them. Now that we are devolving this function, I think things will be a little bit easier for us to address these kind of issues. Again, I want to congratulate you, learners, for such a job well done. We wish you all the best. Please go and register yourselves with our database in the Department of Employment and Labor so that you can be counseled with our professional counsels. For those that are in Cape Town, we've got the youth center that the minister has opened in one of the labor centers in Cape Town. The intention from the department is to roll those over countrywide, but I think the first one was established here in Cape Town. Again, thank you very much for inviting us. We will surely and certainly share this good story to the Minister of Employment and Labor, to the entire senior manager of the department, just to demonstrate this is the fruits of it, and we truly appreciate it. And thank you very much for inviting me to this podium. I appreciate it.
We want to thank Mr. Ntano. The Minister of the Department of Employment and Labor was wise not to come himself and rather send the Chief Director. I'll tell you why. There is no one as easy to ambush as a politician. If the minister was here, we would not have let him leave without making further undertakings. But you can't really ambush an administrator. They are too shrewd. They will quote the PFMA, they will tell you about due process, they will tell you about due diligence and all those things. But thank you so much for a very passionate vote of support. It was clear to see that you are passionate about what you do, you are passionate about the department that you represent, and you take the mandate of that department very, very serious. And I think Mr. Zita and Mr. Tainsma here are exceedingly happy for those eloquent words that you've spoken here and given an undertaking that you will take the message up. Graduates, it is my pleasure to invite to the podium the chairperson of the council, whose job is to introduce the keynote speaker for the day. The chairperson is a community builder. The chairperson is an ambassador of the poor. The chairperson is a very tough taskmaster. And I've also learned this morning that the chairperson is a passionate photographer. I was worried when I saw him with a camera walking up and down. And I said to myself, I hope that the principal did not award the contract for photography to the chairperson, because there may be PFMA issues that may arise. But he then did give me a firm undertaking. It is his own camera and it is his passion. Let us welcome the chairperson of the College Council, Mr. Jeremiah Tainsma.
Thank you, Program Director. I recognize all the VIPs on the stage, but I recognize you more because you are VVIPs. It's about you and it's about your future. You took the first step to consolidate your future. I like the videos that I've seen. Those young people that was selected clearly indicates to us that they know what they've received from us. But they also know that that is not the end. It was just the start that we have given you. You now have the opportunity to go a little bit further and then advance your skills development. Mr. Mayor, Paul Swart, I should inform you and your team that we didn't come to Bredasdorp just because. The council took a decision to come to Bredasdorp to come and say to something very serious happened in 2013. Awful thing that happened here in 2013. And in Boysen. The minister then committed to render a service here. First thing that he did was to deliver in 2016 the Andine Boysen Skills and Development Center. 5 years later, we come as the college and we tell you that we are now taking up space in that same center so that we can deliver on the mandate and the commitment that was made to bring skills development to Bredasdorp. So I thought I would just raise that, and I want to thank you as the mayor and your team for agreeing to take hands with us in transforming the Andine Boysen Center into a real skills development center to benefit not just Bredasdorp, but the entire Overberg region. Mr. Ntamo, you have said a few things that is very important. But I want to say something that is a little bit more important. Mandate. Please take the mandate that I'm giving you to the powers that be in the Department of Employment and Labor. We have piloted your project in the Western Cape. You have seen how successful the pilot is. We want to expand the numbers. We had 4,500. We want to go to 10,000. We have learned over the last 3 years what it is to do skills development. The program director is correct. When we took this decision to pilot this program, we had no idea of skills development. But we knew that skills development is the issue of the future. If we want to take young people off the corners, we must skill them. And skill them not just for employment, but for self-employment, so that they themselves can become job creators. So therefore, our intention as a college is to take up the offer of the QCTO, Mr. Kasi Kruger and DDG. We are taking up the offer of QCTO to prepare ourselves to run 14 programs that the QCTO has identified for the community college sector. And it's all programs, I believe, that can lead to self-employment. Wheel balancing and tire repairs. Skilled people, let them have a qualification in it. Cell phone repairs. Why must I every time go to a Pakistani or Somalian? You can train our own people. Waste recycling, we've seen it already. Tiling. The construction industry needs people that specialize in fields. Tiling, bricklaying, plumbing, roof repairs, general maintenance. We are going to run those programs at our college so that we can capacitate our people to take up a job and or to start their own companies to render that kind of service. Because it's important that I move our people out of being dependent on others, but rather become employers themselves. So there are 14 programs. I'm not going to read all of them. The last issue before I do my actual task, because I've been given a task here, I must be responsible. I'm asking you as young people to become the ambassadors of this program. Your responsibility to go and talk to your friends, talk to your brother and your sister, your neighbor, and tell them about the program. So that when we come back and to come and recruit new ones, there's no truck that will pick them up for short-term employment. But you will indicate to them what this program has meant for you and how they can benefit, basically by getting on board. Let us journey then together, you and us and the people who are sitting here, as we try about what you now going to do with the skill that you have now just acquired. And I'm happy to hear that we have also found employment for some of you. But we are not finished with you yet. I have a very machine factory. We're not sending out numbers. We want you to be employed.
Chairperson of Council, acknowledging yourselves, the Program Director, Chairperson of Council, Mr. Tainsma, members of the College Council, Honorable P. Swart, who's the Executive Mayor of the Cape Agulhas Municipality. I also wish to acknowledge my colleague, the Chief Director of the Western Cape Department of Employment and Labor, whom we just had here, Mr. Ntamo. We're all colleagues in government. Also wish to acknowledge Mr. Kasi Kruger, who's the Regional Manager for both the Western Cape and the Northern Cape. Mr. Zita, the Acting Principal, his entire management team, as well as the staff. Wish to also acknowledge Old Mutual National Marketing Manager, Mr. Aronsa. I met earlier Dr. Lu from the Chinese Exchange Institute. Also met my colleagues, Mr. Beach and Mr. Ngosi. Also want to give acknowledgement to the House of Boniwe and the training providers, the 6 of them that also have been indicated here. Appreciation and greetings also to the media. And the success of this program would not be possible without the urging him on. And then he's coming closer and closer to the victory. They can see that this man is about to make it. And some of these crocodiles are coming even closer and closer to him. The applause gets even louder and louder. And some of them are thinking, maybe I should have jumped in as well if this one is almost making it. And then he makes it. And then there's a huge applause because no one thought he would make it. But he was brave enough, he took the risk and he made it. And then the rich man comes to him, congratulates him for his bravery and his ability to be able to swim across this crocodile-infested river. And he offers him these riches that he's been offering year on year. And this man says no to the money. And then obviously there's a little bit of puzzle and the voices start lowering from the villagers. How can, they're talking amongst themselves, how can you say no to such a good offer? And then he offers the daughter hand in marriage, and this is a beautiful daughter who's an heir to his riches. And then he also says no. And these are the only two things on offer. And then everybody is quiet. Silent, suddenly it's completely silent. You can literally hear a pin drop at this stage. And then the rich man is thinking, what is happening now? And then he asked this man, young man, I've made you the offer of my riches. I've made you the offer of my daughter, who's an heir to my riches, and you've said no to both. What do you want then? And then the man says, sir, I want the man who pushed me into the river. So the moral of the story is, sometimes, and from time to time in life, we all need a little bit of pushing. We all need to be pushed to do something or to get somewhere. And there are times, sometimes, when people don't get pushed, that little gets done. And parents in this room would know that. As a parent, your role of pushing your children is an unending task. Even when they are adults, you continue to do that job of pushing them. Even when you are teaching your child, certain sports or riding a bicycle and so forth, you play that role of pushing. You will know that, particularly in sports, but it's not limited to sport, most successful sportsmen and women, you talk of Tiger Woods, you talk of Venus Williams, you talk of Serena Williams, and many, many others, they are countless, who've accomplished a lot in terms of their career professions. And not only in the sports, in other fields as well, even in academic fields, some will tell you that they were not interested in their studies, but they were pushed. You will notice that many of them will tell you that they got to where they were because they were motivated, but mostly also pushed by their parents. The previous council of this college pushed the principal and management team to manage this college innovatively when they took a council resolution in 2018 to establish and expand its capacity to attract and implement occupational skills project. So that push in this instance was also needed. And the management team was not aware that ACT College could successfully bid and manage a single project worth 94.2 million. I think we've heard this, that has been spoken about. The college, as a result of that push, and the college has managed to succeed to swim across this crocodile-infested river and made it to the other side. The college now has a track record as a reputable delivery partner of a flagship skills program. I therefore must congratulate this college for achieving a certification rate of 86.9%, which I would rather round off to say 87%, and by having produced 3,025 competent learners in the second phase cohort of 3,500 learners, and a project that was delivered in every district and especially in rural localities. Today, we are here because of President Ramaphosa, through his performance management agreement with Minister Thulas Nxesi, pushed the minister and the Department of Employment and Labor to aggressively fund skills and entrepreneurial development that can translate into direct employment and income-generating activities. Perhaps if the minister wasn't pushed to pursue challenging targets, you wouldn't have pushed the department's agency, the Unemployment Insurance Fund, who didn't mind being bold enough to trust ACT College with an award for the training of 4,500 learners. even though the college had no track record whatsoever of managing a project of this magnitude. This is a celebration today. We must bear that in mind. We must be happy, we must be smiling. In some of you, I can see the smiles beyond these masks, because eyes don't lie. You smile with your eyes. I can see that this is a celebration of an achievement, and it's a big achievement. It's a good mood. We are in celebratory mood in part because then the college pushed its training providers and project management unit to do justice to the confidence displayed by the UIF in the college's ability to deliver on time, within budget, and in the process got to push at some stage or another. Now the jumping has happened, and now the success has been achieved. Even the private sector got a push from the college and its project management unit as they pursued workplace opportunities for experiential learning of the 3,500 learners. We heard from the videos where the learners were testing themselves, that they are even in permanent employment, some of them. 2020 has been a difficult year. None of us expected the challenges that came with COVID-19. But despite COVID-19 and the sluggish economic growth and contraction in hospitality and tourism, workplace learning was secured under harsh circumstances. And the bulk of the learners in the tourism program, there were simulations approved and exposure to our national parks, even if these were operating on skeleton staff. This was a great achievement for a sector that was shedding and retrenching people. But most of all, we celebrate the 151 jobs created in the process. We also celebrate the 151 families that are now off social grants and the back of grinding poverty have been broken over those households. It makes a difference. It makes a big difference, not to you as an individual, but to you and your entire family. Dignity came with a monthly salary, and a number of social ills lost its temptation to these beneficiaries of the training programs. I can only imagine what some of you could have been up to if you were not in this program. Do you know what they say? Idle hands are the devil's playground. So you have been saved from some things that you don't even know about because of this program. So we have a lot of reason to celebrate. A lot of reason to celebrate. The 3,028 graduates have a real chance at making it past these crocodiles. You actually have already made it past these crocodiles. Today, we are here to graduate you and to recognize your huge achievement. A graduation ceremony in itself is a form of pushing. There's still more that you need to do. There are many more rivers that you need to cross. We heard the success stories of other learners and how the investment in their skills changed their lives and the lives of their children and those who depend on them. This was the goal all along, not just skills development, but entry into the job market. Government funded this opportunity, but the private sector opened its doors to host learners for 4 months of practical on-the-job training. We are talking here about the importance of government working hand in hand with the private sector. And in that partnership, we managed to produce graduates with qualifications and workplace exposure. This remains the bedrock of President Ramaphosa's presidency and the ongoing call for collaboration in the interest of the population. Indeed, this is a good day. So short after celebrating our common heritage, when public funds make it to the public that need it most, we are deepening our shared heritage of a country that begins to be shared by those who live in it. Today you look fine. In fact, you look better than fine. You look good. And your future looks even better in that regard. And I appeal to you, I know it started already this morning, and I know we're still going to continue, that you take as many photos as you can, and you share these photos, you know, on your TikToks, on your Twitter, on your Instagram. I don't know how many other things are there in this social media, but you share them in all of them. because you are celebrating your achievement. And by celebrating your achievement and sharing, it's not sharing with arrogance, but it's that kind of sharing where you share to inspire others and to give hope to others. In a way, it's a manner of paying forward, because then another person will look at this and say, I can also do this. Perhaps I can also go into this program. And then tomorrow, let us replace the graduation gown for our workplace uniform as we return to earn a living, made possible by a training opportunity. As for the rest of the graduates, replace the graduation gown tomorrow with an outfit suitable for looking for a job. I am pushing you today to reclaim your hope and getting out there daily and knock on doors. For others still, grab the following training opportunity and increase your skill set while you wait on the economy to recover and business to start absorbing employees again, and the economy will recover. On behalf of Minister Nzimande, Minister of Higher Education and Training, and the Minister of DEL, the Honorable Thulas Nxesi, his Director General, Mr. Tobile Lamati, and the team of UIF for having entrusted one of our institutions with such a significant funding award, I'm imploring you, Mr. Ndamo, to relay our appreciation to the chain of command. Chairperson of Council, Mr. Tainsma, you and your council and your management team, under the leadership also of the acting principal, Mr. Zita, you have made us as a department proud, and you've set an example also for other colleges that can follow in these programs. We are hopeful that you'll receive the funding agreement. Mr. Ndamo is here. And as you were pleading for more money, I could see his head nodding. He was understanding that indeed this is needed. I also need to state, Mr. Ndamo and Mr. Zita, that on the 11th of September, it was a Saturday. I still remember, because all over the news was this matter of, you know, the Twin Tower bombings in New York. We had a meeting between our minister, Honorable Nzimande, and your minister, Honorable Nxesi, on the LAP program. And the discussions on that day, and Mr. Zita, you'll recall, I kept on asking you for information because we said we only have one college that is on the LAP program, was that this must be expanded to other programs as well. So we are hoping that you'll carry forth the message that this has been such a successful program, that the application that is currently on the table for the 1,600 learnerships will be positively considered. Many lives continue to change as the college fulfills its mandate of adult education. May we continue to receive credible reports that public money continue to reach public beneficiaries, and may training continue to seek a link between skills, employment opportunities, and translate investment into jobs. Finally, as I close, I want to end up by saying that today and beyond, you will never ever be the same persons as you were before you joined the program. You will be better. Because, as Maya Angelou said, when you know better, you do better. I also want to appeal to you that please treat your parents, treat the elderly, treat every community member and your peers with respect and dignity. We are living in a society that is disappointingly full of ills, and we rely on you to change that. I also want to appeal to you to please say no to drugs and say no to alcohol abuse. Use your stipends and the income you'll be earning as you go into the workplaces for intended purposes and to develop yourselves even better. We have a second pandemic in this country, and I'm again appealing and pleading with you to please say no to gender-based violence. It has to come to an end. We rely on you to put an end to it. And forgive me for my bias, But I will also particularly say, we rely on you as our brothers, uncles, fathers, our men, to keep our women and children safe. We should not have a society where women are afraid and children are afraid. And I'm not saying that women are also not prone to violence, but we know research statistics has shown us that it's mainly the men. Now, also important is the issue of lifelong learning. Please, this is not the end. When we were across, and I have a long history in youth development and skills development when I was still younger and much more energetic. So in any event where there are young people, I like to engage with them. And then I was fortunate enough to speak to a young lady, I think her name, she said was Siwa. Of course, now I can't see her through all these masks. And I asked her what she was doing. She told me she was doing plant production, she enjoyed it. And I said, what are your future plans? And she said she would like to study further, you know, in the field of agriculture. And I encourage her to do that. It is important that you develop yourselves. And when you develop, you don't choose a program according to a stipend. You choose a program according to how it can develop and further your skills. I have worked so long in youth development and skills development, and I've seen young people moving from one skills program to another, from one learnership to another, and collecting all these certificates and stipends. And they have so many certificates. And when they apply for jobs, their CVs look like tender documents. And when you look at these certificates, they are all on the same level. You must try and aspire to achieve upward mobility and be specialists in your respective areas. I'm closing with those words and wishing to say to you, you are responsible adults. We expect more from you. Do the responsible thing. We are also appealing to you that within your rights, you acknowledge your rights, but also do the right thing. Rights comes with responsibility. Whilst exercising your rights, please vaccinate. And also, no, the mayor is also here. I need to also encourage you, those who are 18 and above, to vote. Do the responsible thing. All the best for your future. I thank you.
Can we give another round of applause for the DDG? I think as Mr. Teinsma read the CV of the DDG, I think I must add another skill, and that is driving, because on our way from Cape Town to here, she was very hot on my heels. Thank you again, DDG. We are going to call on Mr. Cassie Kruger, the Regional Manager for the Department of Higher Education and Training, Western and Northern Cape, to come and do the vote of thanks.
Thank you very much, Mr. de Jong. Program Director, the Executive Mayor, Mr. Paul Swart, Mr. DDG Fuchani, the Principal, Mr. Zita, and the Chairperson of Council, Mr. Teinsma, special guests and students. Good afternoon, goeiemiddag. It is really my privilege this afternoon to do the vote of thanks at this auspicious and celebratory event. I'm not going to be too long for two reasons. Number one, I think many of the speakers thanked so many people already that participated in the success of this program. And then secondly, I've developed a cough about 2 years ago. Now, if you speak too long, then this cough starts. And in today's world, if you start coughing, people look at you suspiciously. So if I do start, I don't have COVID. But I must say it helped me a lot to get into the front of a queue. It's quite long. So let me first start by congratulating all the students for their achievement. I think it's fantastic. I hope your families are proud of you, and I hope you are proud of yourself. Often you have to take this first step, and as the DDG said, sometimes even if you get pushed. But I'm sure in many of your cases, it was out of your own free will that you decided to take this important step. I also want to congratulate the management, as well as the College Council, which many people have mentioned their vision, and the staff for delivering such a successful training project across this whole province. I would like to also thank and congratulate the Department of Employment and Labour for their willingness to fund this project on a very large scale at a community college, which at that point was still a very relatively new institution in our country. And I really want to thank Mr. Ntawu for his message and also for his support to this project. I'm glad that he's saying that the Department of Employment and Labour is beginning to delegate more decision-making authority to provincial level. Sir, our department is also beginning to delegate more decision-making authority to regional level, and I'm sure that in the future we will work much closer together. I then also want to then thank the mayor, the executive mayor, for his presence. We are really grateful, sir, that you've honored us with your presence this morning and afternoon. I must just say, while you were listening to the students speaking and the testimony and the impact of this program, you can be very grateful that the college is not a political party, because I don't think you would have stood a chance. I think they would have won many of the municipalities with what they've achieved here. I want to extend a special thank you to our DDG, Ms. Fuchani, for taking the time off to travel all the way to Bredasdorp, and the inspiring message, and especially the appeal that she made to the people of this community to be better citizens. DDG, we are so grateful to have you back at the department. It's so important that people with your institution knowledge and experience becomes the drivers of the CET sector. And we are very grateful and welcome back. This is the first time that I'm actually seeing her face to face in person since she rejoined the department. I want to also thank the other officials from the Department of Higher Education, the National Department, the regional office, as well as officials from the Department of Employment and Labour and UIF that is with us this afternoon. I think a very special word of thank you must go to the College Council Chairperson, Mr. Teinsma, and other council members that I've seen here this afternoon, Mr. De Jong, Dr. Prinsloo, and I saw Mr. Bukwana here as well. We are, people have actually said that the previous College Council had this vision, but I can assure you the current College Council has probably even got a bigger vision. And they are more vigilant and a very good council to oversee that funds are spent well and that college achieve their goals. I also just want to thank Dr. Lu, who's with us this afternoon, all the way from China, and then Mr. Beach and Mr. Dan Nkosi, who are two ex-principals of very big institutions in our country. Mr. Beach, here at Northland College. Mr. Nkosi was the head of one of the Ekurhuleni colleges. And we are very grateful to see that in spite of them retired from the sector, that they are still plowing back into the sector and sharing their knowledge. And really grateful for their presence here this afternoon. Then thank you very much for the House of Baniwe and the 6 service providers for your role in making this program such a success. I want to extend a very special thank you to the host employers. You know, the nature of this programs, occupational programs, skills programs, is such that we need to spend time in a college and we need to spend time in industry. So the role of industry is probably just as important, and sometimes I think even more important than the role of the training institutions. Because at the end of the day, they are the beneficiaries of the products that we train. But our minister has invited all the industries to become part of the training project in our country. And Mr. Meyer, if there's something that you can assist us with from a political angle, is to assist us in bringing the institutions and industry together. You know the industry in your area, and it's important that all industries become part of the training project, and that every workplace, as the vision of our minister, should become a training space. Thank you to all the staff. And then for the students, thank you very much for your presence here this afternoon. Thank you very much for being successful. And I really hope, and the DDG has mentioned it, that you are starting on a path of lifelong learning. In the department, we've got a number of institutions that looks at post-school education and training. Each one have their own mandate, each one looking at a certain level. We've got universities, we've got our CET colleges, and we've got our TVET colleges. And TVET colleges, the moment, is probably for many of you the next step in developing your career. They are in the process of recruiting people for next year. And it's not necessary to pay anything when you join these institutions. There's bursaries, there's NSFAS bursaries. So please take the opportunity to also look at the website of our TVET colleges and see whether you can't advance your career in an environment where jobs might be very scarce, so that you don't lose momentum on this career path that you've put yourself on. I want to thank all the organizers of this event. Thank you very much for making us feel safe in this COVID environment. And then the media that's here. Really, people, you know, I hear more and more people say nowadays, we don't want to listen to the news anymore. We don't want to read newspapers. And the reason for that is people are fed up with negative stories. We really, really need good stories. So I really want to appeal to the media that's here. This is a good story. Spread it. Tell people about the story. We need good stories in our country. Thank you very much for making this such a special event, to all of the people that were involved. And then please travel back safely. And I want to emphasize what the DDG said. Please get vaccinated and look after yourselves. Thank you very much.
Mr. Kruger can't thank himself, so let me do that. Thank you, Mr. Kruger, for your part that you played on the program today. Distinguished guests, learners, I think it is that time on the program that we've all been waiting for. And I'm going to call on Ms. Gwyneth Job to come to the front and just explain to us how the graduation procession is going to proceed. Ms. Job?
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. So what is going to happen is that the certificate is here. So the appropriate people that's been indicated to call out the various names will call out your name. You will come up that side. And then you will take your certificate, you will take a picture with the principal, and then you will get off that side. And then you will go and sit again and wait for your food. I guess that is the procedure.
Thank you. Can I get your attention, please? So we will call out the names. As Ms. Job indicated, you will come up that side, receive your certificate, a picture will be taken, and then you can exit down here, back to your seat. I'm going to call on Ms. Kodisang from the department, as well as Mr. Damon, to assist with the handing over of the certificates. Read out the name.
Yes.
I'm going to hand it over.
Is it?
Principal, don't you need a banner here for the photo?
They are saying, she's saying I should stand there.
Oh, if they're going to come down, then you take a pic down there. Okay, sure. Let's change. Yeah, pictures can be taken down there.
Is it Thank you very much. Wilday Gillian, will you please? Shante Swart. Robin van der Heijden. Meini Klute. Marian Alexander. Francis Timmers. Is it two Francis Edward Alexander. Caitlin Engel. Ik denk Jamie die vat. Jamie, yes. Vat jy so 'n paar na vir die paar.
Kibidu avuyile. Monti Nondumiso. Msanyana Bulelani. Umgun Nozisa. Dalinde Zenande. Mbangula Nosipho. Phakiswa nokubonga. Mpisani Selinto Giuhle. Umbuyiswa Mbabalwa. Harmans Sisipho. Malithenja Notabela. Madolo Nwabisa. Kibidu SA2. Madolo Daphne. Mlajana Nikki. Daliwe Nati.
Rodman Deelman. Wat is die ene?
Mathojwane Jacqueline. Mvimbi Patricia. Kajeni Bolekwa.
Zenobia Olsen. Tracy Lee Kaptein. Wildine Oliver. Jy gaan goed. Ja, yes.
Chobeka Babalwa.
Bridget Willevier.
Chobeka Yandiswa. Cekiso Nomaphelo.
Cynthia Cynthia Botha. Gershwin Minis. Dis nou die mekaar. Rulay Nodi. Naiza Norki. Jeffeline Solada. Mary Ann Fitz.
Ramani Makoshu. Chaka Kayakazi. Martinis Luvuyo.
Sensi. Namulda Minis. Basti. Dan moet je zeker nog even naar aflezen.
And this other ones. That's the diagram. This one. Clinton Maile. Andis Wesenimpi. Asavela Sikaza. Jabulani Tobias. I'm fast. Nothando Matiwani. Siwapiwe Malandela. Azola Hemp. And Andiswa Fish. Asipiwe Mpoki. Andiswa Folopi.
Jason Swanepoel. Jenny Kibedu. Abigail Windvogel. Anadi Sebulneni. Beatrice Neft.
Nomsaba Tembu.
Petronella Swanepoel.
Simkita Batembu.
This is Bidikum. Bidikum. And this is the Dani.
Nosikiso Ngoboka. Sojimi Viwe. And this is Singobaba. Sinazo Sonkelwe. Andisiwe Nokanzela, Songesiwe no Kanzela. Onezanda Mase. Nosiphelele Mti. Andisiwe Mamoza. Thembakasi Kunju. Suwapiwe Jonga. There you are. Palisa Mutile Manana. Hetu Holy Sibani. Sisi Pomkotani.
J.D. Smith, Ashley Daniels, Joanne Arends, Valucia Geswin, Noah Hendricks, Anzel Volsking,
Mzikisi Shasha. Mzikisi Shasha. Lenas. Graduates, can we please sit down so that other people can hear their names also? Graduates. Thank you very much. Yolisa Kiyoze. Yes, we did. Nomfanelo Nodlakula. Nomfanelo Nomadluka. Luvuyo New Witness.
Shamila Stanley.
No. It seems like they're not.
No, jy moet nog net hy aflees nie. Dit is name aflees.
These are not there anymore.
I'm not daarvan af.
So must we call their names here?
Pardon? She's not here.
It seems like all of them got their things.
Dan lees jy vir daai af.
Ons begin hier by.
Jy moet hier van aflees. Ja? Ek gaan dan ek moet hier in hier. It's no one came. Okay, this is one. Nou reed goed daar van af lekker die ons dis dit. Ja. Hoe kom dit met Mr. Osh is okay. Okay. So you just read the names and then just give them. This is a mock certificate just for the first time in a week.
Joanna Klute. Yes. Claudia Ponta.
Anele Sasa. Anele Sasa.
Shadrach Sipiwe. Jarpie Jacobs. And Zell Volksking.
Kumisa Ngezeneni. Kumisa.
Shumisa Zani.
Vuyelwa Ngope. Vuyiswa Ngope.
Junice April. And Francina Makwewi. Christel Metz.
Asive Shodi. Asive Shodi. Bongeka Kilani. This is like the whole investigates. Kayakazi Chaka. That's why it's certificate is a reflect and change of the politics. It's only results. Nombukizwa Luvumo. Nombuki. Sibabale Mchawawale. Sisanda Nonta Piwe Mnukwa. Bayenzela nje libe nayo i-pictures zanamhlanje. So i-certificate senu bazosithumela. Ewe. So it doesn't matter ngoku nje into uyenze ube nayo i-picture now. Wayivisisa so iyaphapha.